Well, hello and welcome to Chewing the Fat. I am your host, the Queen, right here, IntellectualRadio.com. That's right, we're here on IntellectualRadio.com, iHeartRadio, Spreaker, YouTube, of course, my Facebook Live, and any other way that you want to get to us on Chewing the Fat or Intellectual Radio. Please do tag a friend, let them know that I'm on, and we're going to talk about this topic that's kind of close to me right now. A friend of mine asked me to talk about it at the top of the week, and it's about when is it time for our adult children to fly to Coop, right? When is it time to pack and sack their little stuff and send them on their way with blessings and kisses, just like the mother and the three little pigs did. Remember, she told them, set off, set your way, set yourself. I mean, the beginning of time, we should make our own homes, right? We leave our parents' home and supposedly cleave to one another when you're in a relationship, or just how about leaving home and venturing out and trying something new, whether it's school, a new career, entertainment, whatever it may be. Maybe a sabbatical or a backpack across, Europe. I don't know what our children aspirations are, or what our parents aspirations were with us, or ours when we were with our parents. But when is it time to like really go? When is it time to say, okay, I've been a mom and dad long enough and it's time for me to find my way, right? When did we come to that? When did we come to that decision? Was it a forced decision, a volunteered, decision? Was it voluntary or involuntary? That's, ask yourself that, or you probably already know the answer to it if it was involuntary when you were told to just get out. So today, I think in our society right now that we're living in over the past 20 years or so, children are staying home a little longer with the parents and not really venturing out. Or if they tried like really young, 18, 20, and then they're right back by 22, 23 or so. And then they're not out of the house until about 30, and you're wondering, like, that wasn't me. Like, are you looking back and saying, that wasn't me? I was on my own at 16. I was on my own at 18. I was on my own when I went away to school. I never came back. When did that declaration or that epiphany hit you and you say, it's time, mom and dad, I'm leaving with good graces and blessings, I hope, but let me go out into this world, this big, broad, wicked, and sometimes pleasant world, and let me make my way. Let me find out who I am as an individual. How can I stand alone? And how can I blaze this trace, right? Blaze this trail. I mix those two together. So right now, today, we say that children are different. They don't have the same respect level toward authoritative figures. They're not as action forward as we were when it came to our community, cleaning it, having cleanup week, not spring break, right? All of those different things. Where is it that we came to the conclusion that it was time for our children to kind of go? Was it when they went away to school? And so that's what I want to know. Some of our children, don't want to know, but I want to elaborate more on. Some of our kids went away to school. Those that were fortunate or desired to, because you could have been fortunate and just didn't desire to go out of state. And they elected to go out of state. And after they went there, they got the taste of independence, that nobody is there to wake me and tell me what to do. Nobody can dictate my time, no more than that you better get your tail to class or you won't be in those living quarters next semester or so because you would have failed out. But when will we say that, okay, I like this independent living? Or did we come to the conclusion that I like this independent living? I think I can do this thing. I don't want to go back home to mom and dad. I got a taste of this, so, and some of us lived for that day when we graduated and we had those acceptance letters and we knew where we were going, that everything with scholarships or financial aid or both played a part in this. And sorry about that. And we need to like realize how we're going to make it, right? So we made our little selves independent, right? We made ourselves independent so that we wouldn't have to come home. Why aren't our children doing that now? Are we handicapping them? Being their enablers? Is that what we're doing? Because I find it now that children are more clinging to the home where it's more security. And when they have that base of security at home, which they should, but if we do too much coddling and too much in the helicopter and going there and being, the S's on the chest for our children, when do they learn to be independent grown-ups? When they're what, 30? But at 30, you should have had things figured out. Your career is solid. You may have had your first home or before, all of those things, because now it used to be 30, I'll have my first home. But because society has changed, homeowners are becoming younger and younger. And which is a great thing, and kudos to this generation for learning how to do that earlier than we did. But and that's a whole nother subject on why, because of the education of our parents, and they were cash and carry. But when do we come to the conclusion that it's time for our kids to go and grow? Do we wait till confusion come within our relationships? The bond is not as strong as they used to be, because now we have two grown-ups living in the same household, and it's quite difficult to parent an adult, right? Because the first thing kids say now when they on their way to 18 is, I'm grown. I'm grown. I'm grown. I'm grown. And technically, maybe by age at 18 to 21, that you are officially considered a man or a woman. But if you're not able to take care of yourself, if your parents are still housing you, paying the light bill, the gas bill, the water bills, the property taxes, and the list can go on and on. If they are still doing that, then you are just an aged child. You're still being raised by your parents. You are not independent. If you're not saying, let's split these bills down the middle, or, mom, you took care of me all this time, let me take care of you. All of those different things, or mom and dad, so I'm trying to figure out how we have enabled our children to become so complacent with being at home with us and not finding their way. And you're right. You're right, Chef. Train up a child in the way they should go. And when he is old, he shall not depart. When he is old, he won't depart. He won't depart from our teachings. That's great, awesome. He won't. The child, he or she won't depart from how we showed them to become these independent individuals. Because as we're raising our children, we are showing them the expectations that we have for them. We are showing them what expectations they should place for themselves, how they should care for themselves, grooming. And then, of course, our exterior, our home base. How do we take care of that home base? How are we able to show our children that these are the things that need to be done inside the home? But guess what? You'll be doing all these things, but your lights and gas will be off. So how do we show them how to be employed or entrepreneurs or ready to go out and gain a successful life? Those are the things that we should have been doing while we were raising these little individuals who's looking up to us for all the answers, instead of coddling them and protecting them for every little thing. Sometimes, it's a such thing called good stress and bad stress. I'm going to say it's a good thing called good attacks and bad attacks. You know what I mean? Because the good attacks mean you actually walk away with a lesson. You were prepared for it. When the attack came, you were ready to stand flat-footed and go and bout with it and give it a few punches, right? That's what it's about. That's what the good punches are about. I mean, the good attacks. But the bad attacks are the ones that blindside you. You don't have a clue how you got there. You don't know how to get out of it. You don't even know, do I read a scripture? Do I hold on to values? Do I hold on to what, I learned on my own or experiences of my peers? When and what are we teaching the kids to do when it's time to go and grow? I'm gonna tell you a little snippet of what I did when each child of mine went away to school. And some people may say it's harsh. Some people, some kids may be like, "Dang, you rushing them out." No, it's just showing them I know that you can make it. Let me tell you what I used to do. Anytime a child leave, we break that room down. It turns into another thing. Guess what? One of the parents was looking for. So one room became an office. The other room became my sauna room and housed some shoes like a shoe room. And I have my sauna in there. And I stored a couple of people things, but it's there for me to go take, get a sauna, if go get steamed if I want to. I have a little steam area. I can get steamed. My shoes sit in one complete room. And and it's outgrowing that room because guess what? When the other child left, that moved from what was up top in the dome area. It was another room. So I took that room and my husband and I shared closet space and I have shoes in there. So each time a child left, we broke it down into something that we desire. So now one of the rooms will turn into a gaming room. I'm going to get some old arcade games and darts and maybe a little pool table. So each time a child left, I prep myself for my golden years and when my grandkids come and visit or people come and visit because guess what? Mom did her job. She raised the kids. She did what she needed to do legally, morally, and spiritually. All of those three were aligned. My kids never were offended because guess what? None of them ever came back after school because they knew they wanted to get it. And if not, guess who was going to be breaking that room down that I had all prepped for me? Them, and then adding their own things, back into there. And guess who was going to be purchasing their own things? They are. Because it's about becoming an adult, not putting pressure on you that you can't handle. Because they all know if whenever you have to come home and a couple who had to circulate back home to mommy, it's okay. Mom always got a place for you guys. All of your rooms are still there. It's just occupied with some of the things that I want. But so their kids now come over and say, well, which one was your room? And so they have to explain how this room transitioned over. Why did I do this? Because I wanted to show them that they can make it, that they can do this, that I know, oh, you guys are gone away. So I know what to do with this room. And when they came back home, they were able to pop up. I had like little trottle beds or I'll buy a twin bed or something and stick to the side or a day bed that transform into a queen bed. Whatever, they would have something that they can come back and lie on and be in. Even in the office, I think I did. I had to have the little day bed, the little brass day bed. And so if anybody wanted to sleep, they could sleep, but they never wanted to stay a long time because they got a taste of independence and what it is to be grown. And when you prepare them well, if you prepare them good enough, they'll know how to fight when adversity hit them instead of trying to fold and come back, and that's the idea of us parenting. When they come in our homes and we have adult kids that some have never left and you married 20 years, and those adult children begin to start to think that they are an equal and a part of the house. And another parent may not be feeling that type of vibe. Like, you are still a child here. It's time for you to go. You don't have any say so in this conversation. Or if I'm telling you I need something done, you're telling me when you're going to do it. No. You're still in my house. I still say I see some things that's not quite right. And you've been neglecting them. I say, get to them. And so these different arguments may begin to occur. And now you're disgruntled in your house with a adult that should be on their own. It's time for them to go. Check that off your list. If you have to wonder that, and your child I don't care if it's a half, because we never did, in my family. So if I just continue to say child, however you break down your dynamics of your home is on your own. If you do stepchildren, half, and all of that, that's fine. But when we blended our families, it was just mom, dad, kids, whatever. That's how this is kids. This is whatever. It's no, get your stepsister, tell your stepbrother. No. Because that's part of division as well. That's part of the way that manipulation can begin. If you started that relationship, children will manipulate that relationship and they will begin to divide that home. If that division begins to start and that child is grown, it's time for that child to go. If that's the only argument and the only deal breaker in your relationship, the common denominator is the adult child needs to be removed. Period. And If you knew anything about the design of marriage, if you're married, you would know I don't care if you brought this child into this relationship and they're not their biological parent, but parenting is parenting. That's a blanket thing because we don't say, send your stepchild tuition, send your stepchild to the dentist, pay that bill. No, it's your child. Would you get your kid teeth done? So we shouldn't pick and choose when we use that word. So if that's your child and that division is happening in your relationship and that child is over 21, you have that child on a time clock when it's time to go because you are to cleave to one another, forsaking all. Moms, kids, siblings, grandparents, it's you two. You are one. And somebody told me before, I don't believe in that we are one thing because we are both individual. It doesn't mean, yes, you are both individuals, but we move as one unit when it comes to making decisions, when it comes to loving, when it comes to child rearing, when it comes to professionalism and what our goals are and purpose are. Are they aligned? Those things. These are the things that I'm talking about. So this is how we are able to distinguish when it's time for that child to go. When that confusion hits home, it's time to go. If that child is constantly disrespecting the other person in that relationship, it's time to go. If that person feel like they are not the equal in that home and that child is, that's a problem. Hey, April, it's time to go for them to go and get the F out when they start getting smart at the damn mouth. So true. That was my next point. That disrespect, that blatant disrespect. When we have to go back and forth, get out. It's time to go. I don't want to go back and forth with you. Guess what? I earned the right that I don't have to go back and forth with you. This is my house. You are now considered a guest or tenant. You're my child, but I've done my part. So if I start to feel uncomfortable in my living space, baby, you better know you got to go. When is it time for your child to go? When the disrespect starts, you're right. They're back and forth getting smart with you. They're telling you what you're not going to do. You're asking them or requesting for them to do certain chores or things around the place. And it's as though you've never talked to them. Like, I'll do it when I do it. But you're living here rent free and everything else. And even if you weren't living rent free and you were paying, like, just say my mortgage is $1,000, $1,500, $800. If you're not paying $200, $300 to live and lay your head, you got to go. If you're not paying some of those interior bills, it's time to go. It's time to go. It's also time to go when you are becoming more of a, let me see, what do I say? More of a hindrance to yourself. I've enabled you. I gave you a place to stay. I didn't put any expectations on you paying bills, doing anything, but you choose to just go out, do nothing, be nothing. It's time to go. I don't want to enable you to be bad for any woman, bad for any man, bad to your children, bad for yourself. Let me clip my umbilical cord from you and free you because I am now a part of you becoming unsuccessful, unhappy. I'm a part of that. I'm a part of that. Hey, sweetie. Hey, Miriam. How you doing, daughter? Real talk. Bye-bye. And that's it. That's right, April. It's time. Hey, April, my other April. Hey, sister. I got two sister Aprils on. Hey, guys. It's time. It's really time. So you can't have two adults that's not on the same page as roommates, equals, or anything, because I don't care how old you get. I'm still going to be older than you because guess what? I'm your parent, right? So if you 30, I'm 50. Or if we didn't have that distance, I'm 45, whatever. If I'm 60, you 40 plus something. So what I'm saying to you is I'm always going to be older than you. There's a hierarchy game that's definitely in play. So when I'm older than you in hierarchy, respect. Can't say it enough. And then you should want to get out and get on your own. I wouldn't want to be a person that's dating at 30 at home with my parent. I mean, if it's different when you're like coming out of a relationship and you had to come back home to get yourself together. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about those who have never, ever, 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 ever left. And some parents are afraid to be alone and they don't care about that child staying. But I've seen in some homes a shift where the parent has become almost like the child, like that child has taken over the house. That it is that child's house. Like the company is the child's. You can tell how the living situation looks. It's the child's. The way that they speak to one another is almost either peer or they are the equal. So I've seen the shift in the dynamic of parent and child when that child is home way too long because there are some things that you have your own pet peeves as an adult. So your parent may be doing something that always irritated you, always. And then you think that you can just speak it out because today I woke up not feeling good, or I'm in a bad mood, or me and my guy or girl, and we're into it, whatever. So you may get up with that attitude, but it's not okay. It's not okay to have the attitude to your parent. So that's why I say the difference and the respect of those two, you will never be equal. Because number one, I gave life. Your father probably, your fathers gave life. If we were great parents, we spent the time, we put the energy, the work, the love, the nurturing. And of course, oh, I didn't ask to be here, but you're here. And I didn't have to be a great parent. I could have been a lousy one. I had one of my kids say that, and I had to turn around with that response. Yeah, you're right. But I didn't have to be a good mother either. I could have been, my mom called, bad mamas mammies. You could have been a mammy. You didn't have to be a mother. So I'd say that I didn't have to be a mother. I could have been a mammy. I could have left you, didn't feed you, treated you like crap, abused you. It's some people out here that have children for, and don't care. So that's why I said, be careful. It's always, a catch-22, and it's always a yin and yang to a situation. It's always a yin and yang to it. And we need to create balance in our children's lives, even when they are adults. Even when they are adults, we need to create that balance and show them what's healthy and what's not. Because if we don't, then when we're not there, they become the person that we probably dread they would have ever become. Or if they have your grandkids and we didn't do and show them what needed to be shown, they are the ones that's over them now and raising them. And that's why we have like so many children begging to get out of the house and go to the grandparents because they don't have this balance with their parent, that nurturing, protecting balance. When is it time to go? When you don't think you should pay any bills there. When you think asking for something to be taken care of or paid is a absurd request. That, oh, I wouldn't dare pay $100 and something cable bill, but you use the internet and you like the cable, but you wouldn't pay it. But it's okay when I have all the channels and all of the bells and whistles when I'm paying it. Or the light bill, if I say get the light and the gas, it becomes a chore for you. It becomes a hardened assignment, like I placed in your hands a weapon and said, go assassinate somebody. When I say, I need you to go pay such and such when you get paid. It's time for you to go. Because you need to know that the light company and the gas company and the phone company and the water company and all the other companies will be knocking at your door every 28 to 30-day cycle, like a period. Yeah, like a menstrual. So they don't stop, even when you are deceased. My mom still will get a medical bill every now and then. She's been dead for 6 years now. My dad from 84 received medical bills when he passed, maybe 6, 7 years after he had passed. So you're going to always have bills. So if you can't learn how to do that here, then I tell you what, learn on your own. Learn on your own. Learn on your own. I keep pushing this off. Learn on your own. So it's not that we're being money hungry or as parents, we can't take care of it. We're showing them and giving them little small increments of what life is like on your own. That's what it's like. And some of us as parents, we have to stop enabling grown-ups and allowing them to manipulate us back to when they were 8, 5, 12, 16, 17 years old. We have to stop, even at 18, 20. I still call them the babies because, of course, until you are 25, that brain is really not developed on a mature adult level anyway. And this is fact. This is fact. Take it from Dr. Harris. This is fact. So we do know there's a lot of nurturing that still needs to go on. But during that process, you should be learning what it is to be an adult, to be on your own, to take care of business on your own. I'm really proud of my daughter, a miracle, because honestly, for the past, I don't know, 4 years, I really have not had to take care of her. I just take beautiful. I care for her with beautiful intentions. I just do things, and she don't pay bills. She don't do anything, but she's a student. And I do that because I would have had to do it for my other kids. I had to do it for them. So she's a student and she's at home and she decided to stay in Chicago. So of course, instead of her paying, living in Chicago, her paying a tuition, I of course stay home. Of course. But you better believe this little girl, she was ready to get out of there. I want to say maybe 6 months or so ago, and her dad wasn't ready and he was having a fit. But mama was like, go, go, grow, go, go. But she decided to stay home a little longer because she just got a new business location to support one of her businesses. So she's putting the finance in that, and she's a student. So of course, mother and father will help that and nurture that dream. But guess what? The respect has to be there. The unsaid rule of I'm your mother, that's your father, shall always stay in place. I don't have to say it. She know it. Of course, there are times when we bump heads at home. Of course, because she's an adult now. And sometimes she think that because she's an adult, she can sling her weight, but she keep forgetting, not in here. Only way getting slung in here is the queen. Stay in the princess position. So, and I say those things, I don't shelter anything, and anybody who know me know I may add on a little bit more. So it's just that the balance is created though. The balance is there. The structure is there. There is no if and buts about who is the queen of the castle. It's already established. My son, the only boy, big boy, strong boy, he knows. He knows his mama will fly off a handle if a slight bit of disrespect is given. Don't care if you 250 pounds and 5'9". Mama don't care. In my eyes, you 110, you're 110 and only 3-4 feet. To me, you're just a small person. So, not a small person as in stature, but a small person as in compared to us on the hierarchy mark, because I respect all of my children. I respect them as adults. I respect their decisions. I don't intervene and get all wrapped up into their business. I allow them to grow and do this. And that's the part of letting them go. When you are too involved, when is it time for your child to go? When you are too involved in their business. When everything they do with their relationships outside of the family relationship become your problem. That's not your business. So when you don't know as a parent how to stay out of your adult child's lives, it's time to go, because they are adults. They are adults and they have the right to have trial and error. We just be there for cleanup in aisle 10, right? That's how I have to be. Now we can tell them and teach them and show them and drop all these little nuggets, just like it was done to us. We still choose to go whichever little path we choose to go in. But what we do is set the examples and set the stage for what it is. If you're trying to call in, the number is 708-223-8953. I did place it on the top of the search bar because you keep calling, so I'm assuming you're trying to call in. So the number, if you have something to add, is 708-223-8953. Again, it's 708-223-8953. Please call in with your comments, with what you think worked for you as you raise adult kids. Was it about stepping back and allowing them to be them? And I like some of the comments you guys are leaving. Tori says, yes, let them go out and live their dream. I mean, live and learn. Please let them explore. Yet, and I can say that to you as a parent. You watched your kids, your daughters, and you know it's hard for mothers and fathers to let go of the daughters because we think we got to really protect them from this big bad wolf. But you let your two daughters go out and explore, and then your sons, you allowed them to go out and explore and want to be raised by dad, you know, and to be under dad, you know, elbow, you know, as a man. And so Tori, you are awesome mother, but look at your mother. So you know, as we say, apples don't fall far from a tree. And you have your girls went away, went to the military, got married, fell in love, got married, have their own families. And I think the only time your baby back now is because she's out of the service, her husband's in the service, she's raising a new family, and she's young. And you should be there to catch that. What parent wouldn't? What mother wouldn't? And she's the baby. So of course, like I was my mom baby until the day she died. You know, and I still profess and claim. And because I'm the youngest, yes, but not just, but I was the baby, and my siblings treat me as the baby. I have one sister, she's 80, Viola, love her. When she talks to me, she still talks to me in baby tones, you know. Hey, sugar booger, hey, my baby. You know, so I'm looking, I'm like, I'm almost kicking 50 in a moment, and here you are, sugar booker booker tooker, you know. So of course I blush, but guess what, they always allowed me to be me. They allowed me to explore, they allowed me to see things and be myself. And if I ran into the wall, guess who was there to catch? Their little sister or their daughter. Mom and siblings and aunties. I got to say them too. You know, they were there. And so I lost dad at 12. So before then, yeah, dad was there. I was daddy's baby, and all of his kids was daddy's babies. And he would run into literally a speeding train for us. He literally would have. Um, and so parenting doesn't stop. We are still their parents. We are still there to be the back catcher, the front catcher, the umpire. We're there for all of that. We're there for all of that. But we gotta let them go and grow. We gotta let them explore and experience the world. We have to. And especially our young men. Please. Because you're sending them into a home with another woman. And what we show them is what they're going to show as being the head of that home. God, let them go and let them grow. Let them become independent men. That's know when it's time. I don't, you know, my son, he's the only boy, and I promise you, I've spoiled that boy so rotten that we're so much alike. I can just hit him in the forehead, at least once a week. Well, he got a pass last week and this week. I didn't even want to hit him this week, but normally I could just hit him in the middle of the forehead with something and knock him out for about 30 days and wake him back up. Like if I could really do that, freeze him and unthaw him, freeze him and unthaw him, I'll do that to that boy. And that's because mom spoiled him. So you better know I recognize my errors. You better know I recognize. My husband used to say, I'm gonna say it, take the titty out of his mouth. Stop breastfeeding him. Stop it. He's old now. You don't have to breastfeed him anymore. You know, and that just only meant stop nurturing over him. Stop trying to protect him for everything. Let him feel the impact. And when he started to feel that impact, my son became a better man. Same with my daughters. When I let them feel, that's that good attack. Remember I talked about that good attack, bad attack? Write that down. That good attack will grow you up. It will let you be able to help grow somebody else up. I promise you it will. Tori said, yes, let them go. No, I read that one. Okay, so I got you. Just flip back up. Yeah, so we have to be able to say when it's time. I watched my nephew. Life grew him up. You know, he had a new baby. He didn't have a plan, you know, and he was out here. He was out here. He was out here. And I would pray and I would pray. I didn't crowd him out. I would give him little nuggets. I would say, well, you know, I'm Auntie Mama. I'm always here. Two of them. Man. I mean, and who was living the life of up and down, of up and down. And One called me today. He got his CDL license. He's ready to hit it. He'll be purchasing his own semi. So he'll be doing it. I'm so overjoyed for Walte. And then you have Lil Les, who was out here to everybody. I mean, just buried this young man and said, oh, he won't make it to such and such. Oh, he won't make, I mean, every year since he's been a little kid because he was, out here. And so to watch him over the past 2 years mature into a man because life slapped him around a little bit and he had to know that there are good attacks and there are bad attacks. He grew from his good attacks. He had a few bad, but he grew from the good attacks, the attacks that he had lessons in it, the attacks that I talked to him about, or his uncle talked to him about, or his aunts and mom talked to him about, my mother talked to him about those good attacks he was prepared for. And so when he started to change his life, he met a new person and had a new baby, and this has transformed his life. So through the good attacks and bad attacks, you should be able to grow. Let them go. Pray over them and let them go. Send the energy of love, peace, and happiness out to them. Not, do it daily. As you say your prayers, do that. And now you have a more productive child, a more productive individual that you can sit back and be proud of, that if you leave this earth, your grandkids will be okay. The sibling bonds will be okay. If they're the only child, the family bond that they have will be okay. How to prepare themselves professionally and mentally, they will be okay. But if we constantly are running into their attacks and standing up for them and getting into quarrels and quabbles about them, guess what? It's time for that child to go because you have now taken on their identity. You can only be this age once. I don't care whatever age it is. Once. Stop living through your children. Stop. Stop trying to redeem yourself through them. Now, we always want better. And we always want them to be greater. Yeah, I know I do. I wish that every single day of the God wakes me, that my children and grandchildren be the men and women of God that you asked them to be, and they will become greater than anyone in my family has ever become. And I wish that for any child in our family, be greater than your parents and I could ever be. That's what you wish on your kids, but you don't hold them and protect them from everything. And then they have blatant disrespect for the other people in the home, or they don't know how to have responsibilities. They don't know what it is to be hit and knocked down and get back up again. Then we are the problem. Let them go. Let them go. It's going to be okay. That empty nest is scary. I mean, when a miracle really do decide to leave and she's leaving on good graces, that's going to be a really big hole in me as a mother because I've had nothing but children around. But guess what I get to do? Pour some of that back into my grandchildren when they visit. When they visit, because the child rearing should have been done. But if needed, guess who's here? The parents, the grandparents. So we are the ultimate back catchers and umpires. We set this game up. We are the owners of the team. So we should know how this goes and how we are to nurture it and free ourselves from our responsibility of being the ultimate protector, leader, an equalizer. Allow them to learn how to equalize themselves and manage their own feelings and their own ways. We have to do that. And if we don't, then we're setting them up for failure. And we're setting up very dysfunctional relationships between us because the balance on the scale is tilted. And so they're going to be expecting more things out of you that they should actually be doing, right? So step back, and then bask in the glory of what you have set out. It's a beautiful thing to see your children independent, not really needing you, calling you and say, let's go shopping. Because I enjoy that. I have my daughter, she'll say it in a minute, let's go shopping. And I promise you, she does not cut corners with her mother. Whatever it is that mama look at, you want that? You want that? And it's a beautiful thing to even know that your child even wants to do that for you. But she was one of the ones also who went away and never came back. I mean, she hasn't even had to double back home yet. Because I always tell them you can double back if needed. You can double. My mom always kept that option open for her children. You can double back. You will never be set out. You will never not have a place to go. And honestly, if I did have to double back, I would have been the best child ever. I would have taken care of the home. My mom would not have to lift a broom, a dish, or anything if I was around or there to take care of it. Because at some point, the children are to do that in reverse. Not just because you think it's supposed to happen, but because you desire that to happen. Because this person have done the ultimate for you. When you couldn't care for yourself and you were vulnerable, that person did that for you. That's just that's just how love goes. That's how it does. When I couldn't go to the toilet and do anything, mommy was there. When I didn't know what it is to be held and and daddy. When I say mommy, I'm speaking from first person, but daddy, yes, daddy, daddy, daddy. Because we have some great fathers, even if we're not with that person, the father can be a great person. So, and that's what we also need to learn how to do. And that's a whole nother conversation. So I need to write that down, whole nother conversation. But yes, when we do those parts as parents, we should be able to sit back and just bask and be like, I did that, I did that, I did that, right? That's what it's about. Making the full circle of life come back around. That's why I think I love that song, Circle of Life in the Lion King so much. Like Elton John, the words and what he meant in that song is huge. It's about the circle of life. And if we handicap our children, and if our children take advantage and manipulate us, we won't have a circle of life, because it won't be healthy. It won't be healthy. It'll be like the what was the character Scar. It would be like it's an unhealthy balance. It's always shooting somebody else down, always pulling and grabbing and wanting for you to have more, not knowing how to put out and develop your own. Remember the saying, you can teach a man what is it? You can give a man a fish one day, but you can teach the man how to fish, and he'll eat for many days. That's what it is about letting our children go. Letting them know that it's a balance in this house. Now, some people prefer their children to be home and say that they don't bother them and all of that. But that's good. That's good. That's a good feeling to have. But I want that child to look at it that when you're dating or you're in a serious relationship, it's kind of difficult coming to visit you in your parents' home. It doesn't show maturity. It doesn't show responsibility. It doesn't show that. You can say a lot of things. Well, I'm just here to help my mom out because she's having a hard time. In my mind, I'm like, you can do that from your own place, though, right? Like, can you help mom in your own place? Can you help dad living in your own quarters? Your own environment. You should think about that. I just wouldn't want to have, that. And it's almost like dating when you were in your parents' house and you're saying, I can't wait to get grown and get my own place. Well, you should keep that statement as you get grown. Get your own place, right? Get your own place, because that's what you're gonna need to know to have ownership of your own. It's nothing like having your own, and once you have a taste of it, you never want to go back. At least I did it. I always, would, say little things like, oh, what I wouldn't do to be back at home with mom. That just means the responsibility and all those different things. But in all honesty, I wouldn't want to come home to mom unless I had to, and then I know it's okay, because I have a mom and dad that I can lean on, and the world is going to be all right with me once I get the support. But I get the support and then I go. I don't want to. I don't want to leech off you. I don't want to land there. I don't want to land there and make it a resting place. I want to take back off. I want to take back off because there's so much more that you can do independently and show ownership that you should thrive to do that. Thrive, thrive. So I hope you guys had some of the questions answered about when is it time for that child to go and when is it time to let them grow. I hope that you had that, because if you did, then you just had a wake up on how you should plan that child moving on and moving out, and start to plan, you know, man, a healthy way for it. It doesn't have to be dysfunction. You don't have to tell your child, get out and don't come back, and then you guys get back together later on. You should be able to say, I'm always here for you. I wish you blessings. Go over there and pray over the home, put oil over, anointed and sage it, and do all of those great things, and be good with them living away. Be okay with it, and learn how to live by yourself and love you. Learn how to make you as a couple greater, and live those years with fulfillment of watching your kids come back home to visit, to visit, and it's nothing like having them come back home to visit. I get excited during the holidays watching my kids come through the door with their families. It's beautiful. It's beautiful, and asking the girls, because they're going to get better this year, get over and cook with me, and then you can go back home, that type of thing, and who got the dishes before they go home. It's a beautiful thing. So learn to let go. It's okay. Don't be afraid. To you, to the parents or the child, it's okay. Keep your support system. Tap in, phone a friend home or a parent home. Do that, but let them go and wish them well and blessings. I love you guys, and you guys know what I'm going to tell you. Tell you this every day. Live life on purpose and live life with purpose. For without it, what is our intent? How we living? Thank you for joining me on intellectualradio.com.